Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining me for another Multidimensional Monday. You just saw my friend Cheryl. She's recording this session with me. We're going to be working together in a little bit different way than I usually give my multidimensional broadcast. So thank you for being here and joining me, and thank you for subscribing. Cheryl's going to ask me some questions while I'm in channel. We thought this might be an interesting way to bring forward some different information that I haven't brought forward before. You may have heard some of it elsewhere, but the Galactics have come in and asked me to give a personal transmission of the Galactic command that works with the Esther group. So I'm going to go into channel, and Cheryl's going to take over.
Again. Excellent. Well, while Esther goes into channel, I'm going to introduce myself a little bit. Cheryl V here, Feng Shui with Cheryl V, and I've known Esther for a few years. So I am delighted and honored to be able to communicate, asking questions with the Galactic Command.
Hello, this is the Galactic Command. This vessel steps aside and we step forward to introduce ourselves briefly. We do work with the Esther group. We are part of the Galactic Federation. And we do come forward at this time to give you some information about a bigger picture going on your planet than what you can see visually in your reality. So we are going to let this one, Cheryl, come in and ask us some questions. And that way the conversation will help you to understand who we are and why it's important that you know. Go ahead, Cheryl.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for saying who you are. If you can tell us if you're one specific voice for many, that would be great. But more importantly, why are you offering your support at this time?
This is by agreement with the human collective, that when you got to a certain place in your human evolution, that we would step forward as your galactic family and offer our support and help in raising your consciousness. So it is with your permission that we come forward here at this time. We are a member of the Galactic Federation, a group part of that, and we are many going through one voice. We are many galactic races, if you will, in this group, speaking as one, coming forth in peace to deliver our message to you today.
Awesome. Thank you. So, very curious, because right now on planet Earth, on the surface, there's a lot of separation and chaos. Yet this Earth is a place for us to experience being human, to learn, create, and expand our consciousness. So my question is, from your perspective, what do you see going forward for the human collective?
For us, from our perspective, it is a time of celebration, for you have decided to move forward in your evolutionary process. And we see all over the earth many people becoming more compassionate, many people becoming more conscious of their behavior and the way it has affected them and others. We see people striving for change in many different aspects of your world. And this is something that is not always promoted in your news media. People are still trying to promote separation many times, and force, and right and wrong in such a way that it is very difficult to see that you are actually moving into a higher consciousness. But we believe these have always been on the earth being played out. And what we are acknowledging is there is a critical number, a critical mass that was necessary on your earth plane to help propel your awakening process to move forward faster. And you have reached that critical mass. You are right on the edge of it. to the point where we know you will be moving forward in a more accelerated way. And so that is why we are here saying that not only should we be celebrating this, but you should as well, and acknowledge your role in that.
Interesting. Can you explain a little or talk a little bit about this critical mass, just so we have a better understanding of it?
In order for your consciousness to expand in an accelerated rate, to allow for the energy of the planet to really shift into higher consciousness, there needed to be a catalyst, a group that was willing to go in and shift the energy. And many of you volunteered for this mission. Many of you listening to this volunteered for this mission. You are awakening early, and you are saying we can do better and we're ready to move forward. Instinctually, many of you know what to do with your intuition. You are following that. You are using meditation or nature to disconnect from some of the separation and anxiety you see here in your reality, wanting to go forward in a more peaceful way. You do not have to be necessarily a spiritual person or religious person. This is something that all people are tapping into and can choose if it feels good to them or not. And as a snowball gets going down the hill, the speed of it can increase by the weight, by the mere mass of it. And so we sort of use that analogy that you have reached a critical point where you're going down the hill on your own in quite an accelerated way. And we are here to celebrate that. And we are here to offer energetic support and to allow you to know that there is a bigger picture than just what you see with your eyes in your reality. You have intrinsic abilities that you haven't tapped into yet. Many of you are starting to become aware of it, but all of you are capable of channeling, and all of you are capable of being very intuitive and having a guidance system that makes life easier for you. So we want to congratulate you on your progress.
Excellent. You mentioned bigger picture that we're not seeing. Can you go into a little bit more on that for us? What are we not seeing?
What is not focused on in your reality is the fact that the human biological system was seeded by galactics. You had a biological form that was very comfortable on the Earth plane. But to hold consciousness in the way that the planets are seeded from planet to planet, then the DNA was altered, and you were given galactic DNA in order to hold consciousness here, in order to be different and have an experience here and to be aware of it. And in the beginning, you were aware of it. And as the frequency of the planet shifted into an unconscious state, you were experiencing what you perceived as simply a human experience with perhaps some needed guidance. You would call them angels or galactics, but really you felt quite separate from the galaxy. You didn't know we existed in a most profound way as your society went forward. Early indigenous tribes knew, but as things got going and the energy shifted, it was left behind. It wasn't accepted anymore. So we are here to take you back to that place where you know that you have a relationship with us, that you have galactic families, that all of you are considered a hybrid of an individual, that you are human, but you have galactic DNA. It is multidimensional DNA. It is what helps give you those intuitions and gifts that you have, mental telepathy, psychic abilities. these are things that you are quite capable of, all humans. And it was a bit shut down. And now it's going to be that blueprint is going to be reignited as you go into higher consciousness, and you're able to be more of who you really are, and to understand it and to enjoy it. And so that's the good news. That's the big picture here, is that your galactic families wish to communicate with you once again and to help support your process with your permission, to help you remember your gifts, your abilities that are intrinsic to humans, and to help you grow in a very natural way. For society has given strict rules about right and wrong, and even your school systems set up a certain way of doing things to where you are approved or not approved. You're a good student or a bad student, and all these make you feel less than. If you forget how magnificent each of you are and how individual each of you are. And so we're here to help you, to provide energy of support, to bring up your frequency, to bring up your vibration, so that you can communicate with us again freely, and that with your permission, nothing to change your path. Each of you will still have an individual path, but this galactic family can help make your life so interesting and quite wonderful. And there are some of you that will be quite interested and drawn to this message. And there are others that may not feel it's so important for them. So allow yourself to be who you are in this way. There is no judgment here either way. But we feel the earth is in a bit of a chaotic state right now. And a lot of focus is being put on who is saying what and doing what to whom. And this is nothing new, but it's very intense. And as you draw yourself back from that, just know that there is a bigger picture here in your reality that can make things easier for you.
Interesting. So a couple times in your response, you mentioned permission. It sounded like for us to open the lines of communication, for us to start working closer with you, there needs to be some permission given. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes. And this can just simply be by something when you connect in with your guidance system or the Esther group, or you ask for the presence of the Galactic Command, that is giving permission. You have my permission to help me energetically raise my vibration. This can be done anytime that you're feeling uncomfortable, anytime that there's a situation in your lifetime that is difficult. And we would say that there is a big field of energy here with the Esther group that is a very high vibration, that we work with, and we can help you with bringing that up. We share our groups as we merge together in these times to help humans to feel the lifting, the love that we have for you. And that relaxes you, and that allows you to relax your mind a bit and to listen to your intuition and your guidance system to navigate better. For when you are upset or you feel triggered in some way, in those moments, sometimes you have to take a step back and decide how to proceed. And in those moments, there's nothing wrong with asking for some help and giving permission for that. And in that way, we can raise your frequency. We can help you to see what is going on with the situation, and you can make a decision with your guidance system, your personal decision for you on how to navigate that.
Excellent and very fascinating. I want to go back a little bit because you'd mentioned that humanity was at one time in an unconscious state. And it sounds like we're becoming into or stepping into becoming more consciously aware. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes. And there are huge numbers of people that are being affected by this. And we celebrate this. As you move forward, this is part of your evolutionary process. And what will happen in the conscious state as more and more people become conscious, they will begin to see things in a different way. And they will be able to look at what is going on and find solutions for it. So there's been a pattern of repetition in your history. And it's many people see this, history repeats itself. You have a saying in your society. It doesn't have to. And in a higher consciousness, in an awakening state, you can make different decisions for yourself. But if you remain in a lower consciousness state, then you will get caught. We call it a loop of energy where you will just begin to say and feel and do the same actions over and over, thinking that you want change, but never really changing anything. And so this is what you have to look forward to. And there are people in your society already that are noticing this. And not all of them are being listened to, but they're in place. And as a lot of that old energy begins to fade, or those that are thinking they have to do things one way now, even if they have power, may shift and change their mind in a higher consciousness as the energy shifts. And this can happen. They may do things differently as well. There doesn't have to be a complete wipeout of your civilization to start over. That's not going to happen. This is going to happen in stages. And people, we have already spoken to your governments, and many of them are very resistant. They're very distrustful. They're not ready. But there are ones that are at this point ready. They see the wisdom of it, of getting galactic help, of letting people know that there are galactics, that they exist, even though you can't really see them yet. We are here. We do have craft. We do monitor your world, but you're not ready to see us yet. That would bring much fear. And so that is not our purpose here, to disrupt, but to wait till you're ready. And we have asked for support from the governments in this, and they really aren't interested in this at this time, but they're beginning to allow it to take place in different groups and factions all over your world. People are just beginning to talk about it more. They're putting on programs on television that wouldn't have happened so much in the past. It wouldn't have been accepted or popular. So there is a little bit of change in the frequency here, as you can see, just by these things existing now. Records being allowed to be read to the public that were once considered top secret, so to speak. And it is very minimal what they are presenting. It is very minimal. And there is so much more. And we are not going to wait for them to give a total approval of our presence before we let you know that we are here. And that is one of the purposes that you will see many channeling galactics at this time, is that we have permission from the human collective as a whole to be here. We have a contract with you that should you decide to awaken in this way, that we would support you. And so we are not going to wait for the governments to give total approval for our presence here and our support to you. And we are not going to allow you to feel like you're just hanging out there with no help. That, as some people are feeling right now, there is a feeling that if things aren't done a certain way, that is the end of your society, so to speak, a doom and gloom scenario. And that is not what's going to happen. So that is why we come forward, to let you know a bigger picture and to allow you to enjoy it, to be part of it as much as you want. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you for talking to us today. And we will just finish on that note with much love and light for each and every one of you. Each human here is deserving of this communication, of the love that we have and support for you from your galactic family. Namaste.
Namaste, and thank you for joining us as Esther comes back.
Yes, here I am. Thank you, Cheryl, for helping me to put this show on and get these questions asked. They're a great energy, and I learn so much when I hear their viewpoint and their perspective. And I'm really glad that I was able to facilitate this today with your help.
Absolutely.
So thank you for that.
Yeah, and my pleasure. It's fascinating to feel the energy, to have a conversation, and try and understand the bigger picture.
Yes. Yes. Sometimes it's good to step back and observe from all of the chaos and drama that's down here on the earth plane.
Exactly. Excellent.
All right. Thank you. I want to thank everyone for listening today. I hope you enjoyed the program, and feel free to give me some comments and feedback on this, and have a good week. Thank you.